This podcast is brought to you by RX Smart Gear. Whether you're just starting out in your fitness journey or an avid workout enthusiast, a jump rope is one of the most essential pieces of equipment you should have in your workout arsenal, and I cannot recommend RX Smart Gear jump ropes highly enough. I've been using the RX Smart Gear jump rope for close to 10 years now. The quality, variety, customization are beyond compare. I actually did a workout yesterday with my first RX Smart Gear rope that I got almost 10 years ago, and it's still an amazing addition, still worked out great for the workout that I did. I love these ropes. Not only are they dedicated to constantly improving and challenging the community with their variety of ropes, but they're also dedicated to the education when it comes to their ropes and promote proper movement and technique patterns, which we of course love at Power Monkey Fitness. They've recently launched their new Frevo rope, which is made of a high impact polymer that can withstand up to a 50-pound dumbbell impact. With grippy handles and smooth transitions between drills, you cannot lose with this rope. Take your freestyle game to another level and visit rxsmartgear.com and order your rope today. Welcome to the Power Monkey Podcast, where we chat with the best in the world of fitness about what they do. I'm your host, Dave Durante, and this week we are reviewing what happened just last week, our adventure doing the Hood to Coast race out here in Oregon, 200-mile relay run, 12-person team going from Mountain Hood all the way to the Oregon coast, 2 vans of 6. We have 2 people from each of the vans. In the first van, we have Mike Service and Andrew Mariani, and in the second van, myself and my wife, Sadie, talking about this epic adventure. It is our second year doing it, and we talk about all the shenanigans, all the ins and outs that go into not only the physical challenge of running this much, but also what goes into sleeping very little in a van, cramped, eating very little, snacks and all those things. But it really is a special event, and we're doing it in conjunction with trying to raise money for our Power Monkey Camp Educational Foundation to be able to bring more campers out to our Power Monkey Camp. We love doing this run. We love showcasing some of the great things that are happening out here in Oregon, and we hope you enjoy this one. Yeah, so what is our conversation here today is to go over the monumental event that just occurred last week. It was actually a week ago today when we're recording this that we actually started our epic run. We say 200 miles, but I think Andrew was saying that the actual number was like 196. Is that right?
That's what's on the medal.
Yeah,
I may or may not have left at our Airbnb.
They tried to get me to come back to get it, Andrew. The woman was like, "You left your medal." I was like, "Oh, you can keep it hanging up until we come back next year."
When
She's
we
like,
do
"Okay."
something that's deserving of a medal, we'll come back and actually get that one.
Yeah,
I didn't have any
Oh wait,
space.
Mike has one. He's
Oh,
wearing.
you actually do have it. You're wearing
Mike is
it.
wearing
Oh,
it. It's okay. Yeah, there it is. Never mind. Mike has all of ours.
There we
Mike has
go.
12 of them at the same time.
I-
But we did finish up our 200-mile-ish run across Oregon from Mount Hood all the way down to the Oregon coast and seaside. Second year doing it. This is something that Sadie has been begging for the Power Monkey crew to do for a number of years, being that she is a true Oregonian.
I don't know if I begged you as much as like tricked everyone into it.
Tricked everyone.
It was 1 year of tricking, and then everybody went crazy and thought that it would be good to do it 2 years in a row.
How many generations of Oregonian are you at this point?
I'm 5th generation
Fifth
Oregonian.
generation. So
Hey, I found from last year too.
see, Mike
Found
is
that-
a
found that pretty
multi-time
quick.
medallion award winner.
Yeah, Marie has all her running things in my work desk or in my timeout room. And
This is Mike is wearing all his medals at once. This is what you do when you're like 8 years old and you go to gymnastics meet and you win a couple medals and you wear them all at the same time. That you don't take them off.
or if you're Robert Murphy in the weightlifting world.
Hey, Murph was a legend.
I love
Give
him.
him his proper respect.
That's
All
the
respect.
blue foot guy.
The what?
That's the blue foot guy.
Yeah, Bluefoot. My Bluefoot, but yes, his
Dave's blue foot.
skeptical. That's another story in and of itself. But before we get into the run itself, there were quite a few things that happened pre-run that I think are worth mentioning in terms of us not being fully prepared for this event. Andrew, I'd like to start with you. You had a couple. I almost think that you may have done it to yourself just to try to get out of the run. But what were the 2 things that happened to you prior to the run that made this one extra challenging?
Might be 3 things because
everything
was going really well in Europe. So pretty much as soon as I came back to New York, it might have started with the TSA or the passport line. As soon as I got back, passport guy was like, "What the fuck are you waiting for? Get up front." I was like, "Okay, I'm back home." But Yeah, I broke my nose about end of July, playing spike ball, super dangerous. And so I had to get that reset and wear cast and everything like that. And I wasn't allowed to run
Breathe
or
for a while.
Breathe.
yeah,
And
breathing became a premium. Couldn't sweat. Um, I had to take an aesthetic toll. And then immediately upon healing, well, actually, no, I had like a good 2 weeks. You were with me for a week. And then I got strep throat, like the day or two before I was going to leave for Portland. Got on antibiotics just in time. Now we can say that, right, Mike? It's okay now because it's already happened.
yeah,
So
no, all's good. We're
yeah,
past the
yeah,
paranoid contagion
yeah.
phase.
So, so I got a total of 2 runs in the last 6 weeks leading up to the race. So I felt prepped, um, mostly because I got a female Garmin at that. So
Yeah, you guys weren't in Van One's shaming of Andrew for everybody had Garmin's, and then Andrew's is the smallest in circumference. So everybody was certain that he has a female only Garmin.
it's not
And
Andrew just has
clear
very
on the
dainty
website.
wrists, so
It's
it's
not
yeah,
not anything
clear.
too.
I think the Garmin's are all gender neutral, and I have an Apple Watch, so like he was still representing like
I love it. I'm fairly certain that Andrew punched himself in the face, broke his own nose, and then self-imposed willed himself to get sick so that he could pull himself out of this race. But he still got on the plane, came out, wore his Van Halen t-shirt, and
Tank
did
top.
the run.
he ramboed that forest run too. Like
He ran his
when
face
he
off.
comes out of there, none of those little dainty guys can keep up with him. He just pushing all the runner guys to the side and representing for all the strength athletes on our team.
The term is feather boys.
Feather boys, there we go.
So, Andrew, what were the runs like in the woods? You went through like the thick of the woods, right?
Yeah, I got to do that one last year, and I was when Marie and I traded, I was happy she let me do that particular leg because it was enjoyable. It had rained this year versus it being hot last year. Plus, it was like we were probably like midday.
6 hours different, yeah. From 6 in the morning
Yeah.
to noon we started, so very different.
It was fun. We were running, I feel like with we happened to be there with like some of the real actual like runner types. Like who wear the spandex shorty shorts. And so we were running with them in our heat. So going into the woods, it was a little muddier. I didn't know if it was from the drip of the trees or like the rain that was actually happening. But since I broke my nose, I'm not allowed to wear glasses. So I like to have stuff to keep crap out of my eyes. So I bought a cool hat with Mike
Super cool
at
hat.
the top of Mount Hood. Super cool hat. It's all over social media. It got in the way of some pictures,
Gone
but
viral.
it was pretty good. It was super muddy, but it's so cool to run through the woods because it's such a stark difference of like any run that I do in New York City or the surrounding areas. Like number one, it's green, but on top of that, the trees are so much bigger than what we see. And it's in a way this is something I think we can all talk about, but in a way it was kind of cool this year to be like, all right, we have this GPS tracker. Everybody kind of knows where you're going and what your pace is. I like felt like I needed to push a little bit faster, but plus actually like all joking aside, the Garmin helps to see your pace. So all those elements combined made that like woods run really enjoyable, really fun. Plus it's your first one. So I was fresh. So that was definitely my favorite run. And if we do it next year or whatever, like if I can always do that leg, I love that leg. I think or everybody should try to do it, I guess. But it's the most, I think it's the coolest leg that there is in the course because I don't think there's really too many that you get to go through the woods.
Mhm. So there might be a next year. That's what I'm hearing out of that.
I
This is
am
every year, the whole ride. Everybody says no, maybe even pre-ride, and then at the end, everybody's already planning. So
No,
we're
then
renting the
everybody says
things.
hell
Did we?
no at the end of the
Yeah.
run, and then 3 weeks later, everybody says maybe we'll sign up.
Sometimes like one day later, like it's very comical for me. I'm neutral. I'll do whatever everybody wants to do.
I want to get back to the runs and everything. Sadie has a
Yeah.
follow-up for Andrew here.
So, okay. Well, follow up about the whole run in general is like one of the reasons I wanted to do this is to me, it shows the best of Oregon. You're starting in Mount Hood, you run all the way through like this incredibly gorgeous wooded area through downtown Portland and up through like up along the river and then all the way through the mountains again and then to the coast. And it's like stunning. So that's the interesting thing to me, is that you're getting three different types of runs. You're getting one in like the mountains, you're getting one downtown in like city life, and then you're getting one just at the coast. So I love that aspect of it. And I think it kind of like makes the whole experience awesome, is just having three very different kinds of runs. So Andrew, what was were the other ones different for you? Like what were the other two compared to the woods run?
The other two were different. I mean, you were on concrete. The second one, so this last year, I don't think, at least I didn't. I don't know if Jordan and Mike, because they were in my van last year. We didn't really run too much at like night, like proper, like, witching hour, 3:30 in the morning. But my second run was right after Mike's second run, and we were like at 3:30 in the morning. That one was, it almost seemed like a cross between suburbia and farmlands, but it was so dark. There's no street lights. My headlamp, I had not a malfunction. I just didn't know how to use it.
Go on.
So you get these headlamps, you have to run with it's like having flare, but you have to have all your safety gear. So I had my headlamp on, and you first click, it just goes red. And I didn't realize there was a second click that needed to happen to make it go typical flashlight color. And so I'm running with it, and I'm like, this is really dangerous. I can't even see my feet with this red lamp.
A
And
red glow, like Jordan's.
that's
thing
pretty
back
much
behind.
it. Yeah, it doesn't throw a lot of light. And then when I finished, Beth was like, why didn't you hit it again? I was like, what do you mean? Wouldn't I have turned it off? She's like, no, that's how the light works. I was like, that's an important cue. Because so that terrain was just somewhat like suburbia, but farmland, I guess you'd say, because you're running past these like you could tell you're running past like open property. The third one was also cool because it was, I mean, it looked like a car commercial. It was super windy roads, and you're running past the woods as opposed to my first run where you're in the woods. And that was like a downhill experience, which is that actually I don't really like downhill too much, but that was really fun because you just go very fast. And I guess you can start to see the terrain like opening up because we're getting towards, I guess, like the transition of the woods to the beach, which is where you guys, I think, kind of take over.
Yeah.
I want to go back a step because I like Sadie's transition to the actual legs, but I wasn't finished with talking about my experience prior to the race, because I think it's worth mentioning, especially because we have video of it.
So far we've got a strep throat, strep nose, broken nose, strep throat from one of our better runners, Dave.
We lost Jordan, which was our best.
We lost our best runner.
Yeah,
so Jordan didn't participate this year, unfortunately. So we lost our best runner, and so that was challenging. We did add an absolute superstar in Sarah, who we've all told to be part of the team, and she ended up doing it without any qualms, which is just admirable. Like she
probably has the best running video of the group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sprinting to try to get back in the van because she didn't want to do her leg. It was amazing. But prior to the run, I was with Andrew in New York, and we were driving a lot. We were in the car quite a bit. And I'm an old man, and I threw my back out from sitting in the car so long. So we haven't done many runs this summer because we've been traveling so much. So there was no real preparation, unfortunately, for this year. Then I threw my back out. And then 2 days before the run, I was out in my front yard, and there's an enormous wasp nest that is out there. And I went like kind of close just to kind of see where it was coming from. Not super close, but they freaking attacked me, and I got stung by like 20 wasps on my ankles. And there's a video of me like just covered in bees running away from this.
We've got Dave's security video.
It's hilarious now. Not at the time. Not at the time. And my ankle swelled up like crazy. I couldn't put my shoes on. And this was the week of the run. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, not only have I not been able to run, now I can't even put my shoes on and my back is killing me. I'm like, this is disaster. Absolute disaster. So I ended up having quite a shit show of an event prior to the run. And then Marie, when she was getting on her plane,
before
her pocket, and there was a bee in her pocket, and she got stung by a bee.
At 6 a.m. at security leaving Germany, Marie starts like yelling and everybody looked over, and a bee fell on the ground, and it stung her right on her middle finger, and then it started to swell up like Hitch, like Will Smith and Hitch. So like half the plane ride, her hand was just getting fat, and then thankfully it went back
I
down.
think we were
But
just being told we shouldn't be runners. Like,
all signs were saying that we are not a running team.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If we had any
But
like big
we
like
did.
tarot card people, that would be a sign to like definitely not do the run, I would assume.
It'd be like, wow, you guys couldn't see that? The whole world is telling you not to do this run. But we
Jordan,
did.
see what happens when you can't make it for the team? Like the whole everything just gets messed up.
My
Beth
my
had a
my
rolled ankle.
apologies.
Yeah, Beth rolled her ankle too, which we didn't bring up, but she
Yeah.
powered
Yep.
through and was able to do it.
Superstar.
We did mention it briefly, but just in comparison to last year, there were some things that were different. And for the most part, we all took the same legs. Andrew took some different ones. Mike took Jordan's legs, which were the hardest ones last year. So Mike went from being just, one of our
I was a
runners,
downhill specialist last year.
downhill specialist, started out the run for us last year, and he ended up taking some of the longest and hardest runs. So Mike
Discovered I am not an uphill
Valiant effort.
specialist. And to Andrew's point earlier, where he said that we seemed to be running with some higher level runners this year versus our 5 a.m. start time from last year, where they put all the turds. When you go from the easiest leg to the hardest leg to running with the better people, I can safely say that I did not pass one person on 3 legs. So I was passed so many times on this run. I was just so thankful that many of our other teammates were passing people. So I think we were at a net 0 by the end of the run.
What do we call them? Roadkills? Is that what you call
Yeah,
them? When you pass someone?
I got killed by everybody. One
Mike
guy
just-
even, yeah. It was bad.
Mike might be the least competitive person that we have on the team. He's just Mike is about.
I gave everybody
enjoying the
like Sour
scenery.
Patch Kids for passing me. It was like Halloween. I was like, great work. Keep it up. Here's a little
I
snack.
made so many friends.
So many friends along the way. That's
Yeah.
Mike's MO. Just I'm out here. I'm having fun. I'm running an 8-mile,
Yeah.
11-minute mile pace here, and we're just getting it done.
Mile pace definitely dropped about 3 minutes a mile this year, downhill versus uphill. So Jordan,
did it.
again,
You did it.
major props to you for actually being able to run uphill. I don't know how that's possible.
Jordan, that's you.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they
I
gave
prefer
us
running uphill.
the later start time this year. So I think there was this pressure that we actually had to finish like at a decent pace,
Like,
or
get
else we'd
moving.
still be running through the night when the event's supposed to be over. So there's definitely this added pressure that we at least had to try and make our time from last year
Mhm.
so that we wouldn't be like the last team to finish.
I love the change. Like I was a little worried.
It was
I
better.
finished
I
later,
liked it way better, to
but
be
there
honest.
were a few things that were different. One, the weather was different, which Andrew mentioned. It was much cooler. It was better to run in. Wasn't 95 degrees, which was kind of brutal in the middle of the day for some of the runs. So the weather was nicer, but the congestion was not an issue. Like last year, there were so many teams that going from leg to leg in the van was awful. Like you were in just traffic the
Yeah.
entire time. And in some cases, you had to let your next runner out of the van and have them run to the next stop to be able to make the transition because there wasn't enough time to be able to get your van there, which sucked. It was just like, there's too many people here. But because we were pushed to such a late start time, there were
Oh, it
much
was
less
awesome.
teams, and it was awesome. The transitions were great. We got to each of the transition checkpoints, and volunteers were awesome. There were parking spots. It was super easy to get and to navigate. So from my perspective, I will always take a later time if we ever do it again. Like if they gave us an option, yeah, we finished at the end. Like we finished. Our projected finish time was 9 p.m. at night on that Saturday. We finished 2.5 hours faster than our projected time, which is a testament to us pushing a little harder than we all thought we were capable, but also we didn't have the same transition snafu that we had last year, which maybe we can talk about. But we finished, ended up before 7 o'clock. We had an awesome time out on the beach to finish. So if it was up to me for next year, I'd take the same start time again.
For sure.
Yeah.
And shout out to our volunteers too, because they were so awesome and picked times in the middle of the night to go help our team, because each team is required to have 3 volunteers. So if anyone listening out there wants to volunteer next year, if this is happening again,
You get a hug from all of us at 3 a.m.
you get some awesome Power Monkey swag and fun barbecue night with us.
You get to come and hang out with 12 complaining people about how much they hate running. You want to come do
And
it?
then you wonder why you're volunteering so they can all run.
No, but the volunteers are awesome. We actually met some great ones along the way too.
Yep, some that are CrossFit peeps that were excited to see the Power Monkey vans and stuff. Who knew who we were, and that was kind of cool. We'll talk a little bit about why we were running in a second, but I'm curious if anyone else had any interesting things happen during their runs, or if anything that was a little different from this year from last. Sadie, anything? You ran the same 3 legs.
I did the
Andrew
same
and Mike didn't.
legs. So it was kind of like a redemption run for me, and I did so much better this year. I shaved like a minute off of my mile time, and my last leg, that was like 8 miler, I finished like 10 minutes faster.
Yeah, you crushed that one,
last
Sadie.
year.
Well, it's because last year
Uh,
I ran with her, which I should not have done, but it wasn't really running so much. It was stopping every 8 feet for as many blackberries as you could pick off the trees, and then continuing till the next blackberry bush came about, and then you pick more blackberries. So it was more like we were going berry picking for 8 miles than it was an actual run.
Mike,
Last year.
that's your leg, Mike.
I'm on. Can I have that leg next year? Because I had to pack my own snacks to like stop and eat every mile just to keep myself motivated.
no, I did not stop. I did that whole 8 miles without stopping.
That's
And
impressive.
yeah, so it was a redemption run for me.
It was beautiful. It was very impressive. And that was where I was not able to walk, so I was able to give you a hug and then just fall down to the ground again. I don't know why it is. Maybe my cardio is enough to be able to feel like I can push, but my body is not capable of keeping up with it. So when I finish a run, I really felt like I pulled my hamstring and my quads at the same time. Like I haven't really heard of anyone ever doing that, but I'm pretty sure I did it.
I feel like Dave and I are absolute opposites, where I'm like physically, I think I probably could run much better, but mentally and emotionally, I'm like, no way.
I ran each of my legs a little faster than last year. I did 7:20
nice.
mile on the first, 7:30 on the second, and then 8:20 on the third. And I was happy with a decrease, having not
Yeah, those
really
are great.
trained
Those
at
are like
all.
those are Jordan-esque paces.
Yeah, but not uphill.
Well,
Not
yeah.
uphill. I will say that there was a lot of gear that we had to wear this year. A lot of gear, like Gary being a part of our team.
One that got us docked some points.
Yeah. So it was great. I think it was something that we absolutely should do again. But at night, as Andrew mentioned, there's some required pieces of equipment that are necessary. You have to wear like a vest and lights, and you have to wear a headlamp when you're running through the night runs. And then you have a bracelet that's supposed to be like a slap bracelet that's supposed to be your baton that you pass from member to member as you go through the relays. And then this time we were also like, okay, we each have our Garmin's or our Apple Watches. We have our way to track, so we have that. And then we're like, okay, Gary's like, we're gonna have this Garmin tracker as well, and everybody's gonna have this tracker so we can see everyone's pace and we can see where everyone is along the trail. So it'll give us a better indication of where someone is and how fast they're going. So we had this in a little like fanny pack, and we were passing the fanny pack from group to group as we were going, and we had the slap bracelet in the fanny pack.
Mhm.
So as we were transitioning the fanny pack, you clip in and you run. And we're like, cool, we can track everyone, lots of gear. And we find out towards the end of our runs that we got docked 5-minute penalty
There was
for
a snitch.
inappropriate exchange. Someone told on us that, I mean, not like we were doing it purposefully. We didn't know that this was not okay. We weren't like trying to skirt the rules here, but we got a 5-minute penalty because we were exchanging the slap bracelet through the belt and not through hand-to-hand exchange, and we got a 5-minute penalty. The Power Monkey team is in the
We're cheaters.
because of this.
All the things we did to get penalty for, I'm surprised it was
20
that.
2024 Hood to Coast is now clouded in scandal.
It is, yeah.
That's
Exchange gate.
Exchangegate.
Yeah. So, for those of you who reported us to the authorities, we will do a better job next year. We will do nothing to besmirch the integrity of the Hood to Coast relay race.
Gonna run in
Yeah.
our scarlet letter next year on the front of our
So one
shirt.
thing about all that gear though is, I mean, you're running, it's a safety thing because you're running in the traffic. Like you're running against
you are.
oncoming cars. So it's a
Yeah.
safety thing why you have all the lights. So it's a good thing you didn't get hit, Andrew, because you didn't have your light on.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean,
there's an
popular time
element
of
to
day.
it that's like you're on a shoulder, you don't have much room. Like you really have to like be aware, and so they do that for a purpose so that you don't get hit.
Thank you, Sadie. Sadie's a representative of the Hood to Coast race in her off time as well, just making sure that we're all on board with the rules and
Board
regulations
of
that are going on.
directors.
I had my blinkers on, so yeah.
I love the legs this year. My middle leg is a very cool one through the woods, similar to yours, Andrew. I couldn't see anything either. I had my headlamp on and I couldn't see anything.
Oh, yours
And
was at night.
huh?
You're running through the woods at night.
Running through the woods at night, but on a dirt trail, not on concrete, like running through dirt trail for 6 miles without any, and there were less people this year, so I saw maybe 2 people the entire run. So
Spooky.
it's like you're running in a horror movie for 6 miles. So that's definitely something to be concerned with if you're someone that's scared of nighttime type runs.
Night terrors. Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't know that there was runs like where I found out this year that I know, Sadie, you run on like gravel for one of the legs because
Yeah.
for the most part,
We only have the one off-roader that you have.
yeah, I was going to say it's all pavement. I
Yeah,
didn't
every
realize.
other one.
My berry picking 8-miler one is uphill, like a slow gradual uphill, all on gravel. And then my first one at night, complete dark, was kind of running through approaching downtown Portland. That's an interesting one too. Where you see a lot of downtown Portland.
Yep. Sarah was right in on that. Sarah got through downtown at, what was that, 2 a.m.?
Yeah, she felt at home though, but
She
yeah,
said, she said it was comfortable for her. She said she ran really fast.
people knew.
But yeah, was able to, rekindle some past relationships.
Can we talk a little about what van life is like on these things?
I would love some compare and contrast on this one, Dave.
Because
You got
van
the
life
whole-
is one of the things that you don't really get appreciation for unless you actually do this kind of thing. You're in a van with a group for 30 hours, essentially. No real sleeping, tight quarters, lots of snacks. In fact, my favorite part of the whole run is going to Costco before the run and buying all the snacks and eating them like it's necessary to eat 8 bags of gummy worms before a run because that's appropriate.
You got a carb load.
The amount of snacks that we have at our house now will I think make it all the way through to next year. We are packed on Sour Patch Kids for the apocalypse.
Stocking stuffers for sure.
Jordan, you have to put a picture of Sadie's snack bag that she sent home with everybody on their flights in the notes somewhere for the podcast. Like everybody got the most epic Halloween trick or treat snack bag I've ever seen.
See, that's a van difference. Van one, we didn't send anybody home with anything. Other than
Well, I feel like last year you guys were much more pro snack. This year you gave your leftovers to us, and there was like a couple bagels.
We were more efficient on our snack purchases this year, and we wanted to have not so many leftovers. So
strategy.
Yeah,
We
we
didn't have that strategy
strategized.
at all.
We probably spent $300 to $400 less grocery shopping this year.
In fact, we did not follow that so much that we had to make a second Costco run the morning of the race because we went through a bunch of the bags of the stuff that we got just the night before, and we had to go back and be like, we need more animal crackers with
Reese's covered
Reese's covered animal crackers because we ate
Oh,
2
wow.
bags of them before the actual race. So I think we went a different direction with our pre-run snackage.
Yeah. So van life, everyone in my van also had a poncho or a onesie or a
No, not everyone. You
robe.
had 6 of them.
No, but I brought one for everybody so that everyone could be comfortable and cozy and cute
Oh.
at the exchanges. So
The front seat of the car was just stacked with Sadie's
Wardrobe changes.
her wardrobe change. Yeah.
Her looks. Her
of
look
like
book.
onesies.
BJ went to go sit down. He's like, I can't sit here. It was just piled up like to the ceiling with Sadie's clothes. Like, what is going on here? Like, we don't have that much space here for you to have hangers hanging in here. This is ridiculous. But she looked good at all the exchanges. She looks good at all the exchanges. So
I mean,
Yeah,
van one's big on personal hygiene. So I think everybody in van one showered 3 to 4 times over the course of the 30 hours.
okay, and how are you able to do that? Let's give some insight into some
So
of the
yeah,
lessons
I
that we
think
have on this.
Probably both vans are lucky since we have a local connection. Because I think like somebody traveling, and if your whole group is not local, like you're literally in your van for 30 hours and that's it. But we're lucky we do the first leg, and then both van one and van two after the first leg are able to go back to Dave and Sadie's house and get into the ice barrels and get into the hot tub and eat and shower, which feels amazing. After you do that first leg, it's like a nice recharge. And then for us, we get a special bonus because Nicole's friend Courtney lives 15 minutes from our final exchange point on our second run. And this is the one that's, I think, like vital, at least for our team morale, is we get to go there and shower and do a 2 hour nap. And I'm quite certain if that didn't happen, like our van would probably go home after the second leg and just we would.
You guys also rented a hotel.
And then and then we
That's
decided
optional. It's
yeah,
called
that
after.
we didn't. Yeah, this was so year one because we're the first. We're van one, so we finish about 6 hours prior to van two. So we drive to the coast, and then we have about 5 hours to just hang out there and wait and watch the GPS tracker get closer to us from van two. So last year we were all stinky and hot and sweaty, and we ate some breakfast, and then we were thinking, oh, it would be really nice if we could get a shower. Maybe we can find a hotel or something. Well, at that point, everything is booked. So this year, we looked a little bit preemptive, and the prices are obnoxious, but the joy of having a team of six is you can split that into six. So we found a hotel room. We went and took all of the towels from the swimming pool area so that we could all have fresh towels. And then we had we had a shower relay where everybody got to get a shower. Then we went to have a nice dinner. And then we still finished all of that and had like 30, 40 minutes before Van 2 arrived, where we were all clean, fed, positive, happy. It was a great experience.
You
We
guys were in a
also,
better mood this year for sure. But this is the difference between van one, van two. Van two is like, here's your sleeping bag. Let's go. There's a field over there. We're gonna lay in a field with a bunch of strangers. That's where you're sleeping tonight.
Yep.
We did do that on our second leg, and it was awesome. Like I
Our
was
band's a
not
little more
expecting it to
posh.
be.
might be the difference
Sadie
between
and I,
East Coast, West Coast. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
we
Sadie and I
like
slept
nice
in a
things.
field.
We have my favorite picture ever where Dave and I are eating like a
This
bag of
picture's
Doritos
great.
and then we just like pass out in a field of strangers. And
So
We
romantic.
look like a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
we slept out. We slept out in a field for an hour and a half or 2 hours. That's what our recharge moment was like. And actually, it felt really good to just be able to lay horizontally for a minute and then get back
Oh,
into the van.
the laying flat it's never felt so good. Like it makes me realize how cushy and easy our lives are when like that feeling is very rare that you're like, I don't care if it's for 15 minutes. I need this right now. And I'm so thankful for it.
we
There was
actually
one.
have
Go ahead, Andrew.
we have a good somewhere. I think Mike has it. We have a good shot of literally everybody post shower
Oh yeah.
after our van in this hotel room. Like we have six people laying on a bed, just like sardined up.
If
Shower. What?
if we wouldn't have had a dinner reservation, I think everybody would have fully passed out right there.
Yeah,
We
we
might need
so
that picture added to the show
Here we
notes
go.
here.
but on as Mike's pulling that up, we also all I think it's important to note that post hotel shower, once we all met up at the beach and we crossed the finish line together and we went back to our Airbnb where van one was, we all showered again.
Yeah. Everybody showered at home and then went to bed. And I think everybody slept like 12 or 13 hours after that.
Yeah.
Well earned. We're still picking up our sleep from that run, so it's not surprising that you guys took some additional showers and sleep. I did want to just mention one more time, Mike, you said it, but coming back here after our first run and being able to come back to the house and have everybody lay down, we using the Normatec, using the Hypervolt, using all the recovery tools that we have at camp that we also have here, and then we actually did a full cycle of contrast. Like almost everybody, our whole team did a full cycle of contrast with the ice barrel that we had and the hot tub, and we were able to use that prior to actually closing our eyes for a couple of minutes, and that was like godsend. That was amazing to be able to, because we didn't have that last year. Wyatt from Ice Barrel had sent the barrel to us, but it got here a week after the race last year. So we didn't have it ready to go, and we waited a whole year to be able, okay, we are going to make sure we use this thing. And it was absolutely just an amazing addition. Like we've been using it every day. People were here the entire week. We've been inside of that thing. So I got to give a shout out to Wyatt and Ice Barrel and thanking them again for getting us such an amazing recovery tool for us to be able to use. Also, one change, we had that huge shit fest and going from our second major exchange last year when we messed up and
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about BJ. So this is a different
different
shit
shit fest.
fest.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
that was yeah, BJ's situation, oatmeal situation. But we were able to do a much stronger exchange this time. It's one of the reasons why we finished 2.5 hours faster than last year is
Made up
we
90
didn't lose
minutes
out
on
in
that
this
one.
hour. We don't have to go into what happened. I'm just saying that it was better this time. But the route coordinators had us go this completely different route to get to the last major exchange. And so instead of following the other cars and getting stuck behind traffic, we had to take this huge loop. It was like a longer route, but it took us through Astoria. And I had never been to Astoria, but it's actually one of the reasons why I really wanted to move to Oregon. So we took a little detour. Everybody else was sleeping in the car, but we drove and went past the what is now the Oregon Movie Museum, which is where they shot the opening scene from Goonies when they're in the prison, and the family or the mom is getting the Fratellis out of the prison. That's the Oregon Movie Museum, and we passed by there, so I got a little of my movie history along the ride before we went to the last major exchange. So I finally got to see Astoria, Oregon, which was part of my checklist of must-dos being an Oregonian now. I got to do that.
Overall, I feel like we made so many improvements this
So
year.
many.
We
Yeah.
did. We did. I mean, that alone is slightly talking me into maybe being okay with doing it again next year. Just everybody was so happy with their
So-
performances.
I would say the greatest improvement was that we actually made this a fundraiser this year for
Yes.
the Power Monkey Educational Foundation, which is the foundation that we started to formalize the process of partnering with awesome organizations that are doing great work in their communities to send people to camp on scholarship. So we're super pumped. We had some shout out to Nicole and Gary and who are other fundraisers that like
Francis and some other major
so many
tons
awesome
of people who donated. We were able to raise around $4,000, which equates to about a scholarship and a half for great recipients to be able to come out to Power Monkey Camp in the future. So it was a very successful first time that we were using it for a nonprofit situation.
Yeah, we can link in the show notes to that so you guys can read
Yep.
more about that.
Yep, if you're interested in donating, the website is continuously going. We've been doing it for a number of years now. We've raised close to $100,000 over the years to be able to bring out recipients. We're actually bringing out 6 scholarship recipients this time, 4 coming from 206 South, our amazing group out of Seattle. We have another coming from San Diego through one of our weightlifting coaches, Vanessa McCoy. We're really excited to get this scholarship recipient out. And then also we partnered this time with the Keala Foundation out in Kauai. And we have someone from Keala Foundation coming out. One of their coaches is coming to our next Power Monkey camp in just a couple of weeks. Yep.
Super pumped.
So this is going on. Obviously, this was the 42nd year of Hood to Coast. Next year will probably be happening around the same weekends. I don't know if the dates are fully established yet, but while we were doing the run, a couple other races were presented to us as potential ones to look forward to or potentially consider. One was another 200-mile run relay, 12-person team, but it's in Alaska. And this guy on our IG feed was like, hey, you should check out this Alaska run. And so, one, would you guys potentially be interested in doing something like that? A new venue that's very similar in terms of length and setup? Or
No home
two,
court
and this
advantage.
one, what's that?
No home court advantage there.
I know. We're all going to be in a van the whole time. So everything you guys enjoy about being here is out the window.
Yeah, but people
Unless
don't sweat in Alaska. It can't be that hot up there. I mean,
Is Alaska relatively flat or is this a mountainous run? I'm
I don't
interested
know.
in
I
the
don't know the
elevation.
details. I don't think Alaska's very flat though. That's I don't think that's the case. And you might have some grizzlies chasing you, so there might be some push. But the other one is a pentathlon of sorts that Nicole's been trying to get us to do in Kauai, or maybe it's on Big Island. I'm not sure, but it's like, no, it's not. Jordan, you know where it's at?
Yeah, it's on Oahu.
Oh, it's on Oahu. Okay, awesome. So it's on Oahu, and it's pretty gnarly. It's like 5 different events. and or maybe I don't know if I think it's a pentathlon it's called, right?
Heptat,
So it would be
heptat, heptathlon?
I think it's a pentathlon, but I might be
Okay.
mistaken. But it's 5 events, and all of them are pretty gnarly. It's like a bike race, a paddleboard, a road race, a ruck, and a run. And the distances are all pretty extreme, pretty extreme. So Nicole is trying hard to get us to be like, hey, each of us can take one of these things, but I can't do any of them. Like the run is like 20 miles, the ruck is like 40 miles, the
You can
paddleboard.
split all of those up except for the swim and the paddle. Everything can be split. So the 20-mile run, you can have 2 or 3 people do a portion of it.
Oh, I thought it was one person to do all of the
Nope.
things.
Just the
Oh,
swim and
really?
the paddle. You can't split those up, obviously, because they're out in the middle of the water.
So
All
does
right,
that
what
mean
makes it
the size of your team is like you completely choose how many people you want to participate?
I mean, I don't know
No, I think you're only
100% of
allowed.
the rules, but I'm pretty sure you can kind of get more than 5 or more people, I think.
We can get
You can do five or
Pavlik to
more. I thought
do.
it was five for sure.
I mean, Nicole's message, because you commented on that in the thread, and her response was that you could split up everything except the swim and the paddle.
Oh, all right.
If we get Pavlik to swim, that's already very helpful.
We do Pavlik has to do all of them, and we'll just cheer his ass on and be like, "You're
And like
doing
four
great."
of us are on the paddleboard together.
Or
Yeah.
anywhere else in Hawaii?
While he swims, we're just
Yeah.
paddling next to him. Doing great, doing great. So would Alaska be interesting? Would you guys ever consider doing another location?
I'd like to actually go to Alaska. So if this is a way to do it, I would personally be okay with that.
All right, we
For
might have
sure.
to. I know that might kind of hurt Sadie's heart to leave Oregon.
Yeah, like in addition to this.
Oh, we're doing two
Oh,
of these a year
now
now.
we're
Yeah.
turning into a professional running
Look at the
team.
relay team. Yeah.
I mean, how many medals can Mike fit around his neck? I don't think.
Yeah, guys, I don't know. This is it's getting heavy being this meddled in the running field.
Running.
Well, anything else to add before I finish this thing up?
I mean, Van one, I think all of our criticisms can fall to the wayside. We were super united, and as
We
we
don't
were
get to
last
hear
year.
about you using the shiwi.
Yeah, I mean that's tough.
Shiwi,
It's a
shiwi,
tough position
shiwi.
to pee in. So that's Mike made a good point. You
I
have to
think
make sure.
that's on our Patreon. I did tell Andrew to extend his hips and squeeze his glutes, and that would help. But I think that's a story for our Patreon page. That's probably like a pay for episode to go through all all those deeper conversations of things that happen after hours in the vans.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Things
post race actually. So that's out.
Yeah.
We did have, I think this is probably a good thing to include in the podcast is that, so Sarah, who stepped in for Jord, we asked her, we're like, hey, what are your favorite Power Monkey events that you've ever done? And she's been to everything from Crete to Sicily to Restore.
She's been to every type of event that we've ever had.
Yeah,
Except
the intensive.
everything except the intensive. Yeah. So she said that Hood to Coast, among all the things she's experienced, is number 2. Only thing that beats it is her very first camp experience. So if that doesn't sell anybody on wanting to do it again or doing it in a different venue or just kind of wanting to hear more about it, I don't know what would.
And I love hearing that. And what would be cool, because there's a lot of Power Monkey Camp coaches and staff that want to be a part of this and are asking if there's open spots. If there are other people out there within the Power Monkey world that are listening to this and you guys want to start your own team, it would be kind of cool to have multiple Power Monkey vans out there with different people. So there's no reason why we can't look to have other people sign up other teams, and we can try and caravan together and just be out there in full force, a bunch of Power Monkey vans out there together. So consider it if you're listening to this and you want to be part of it. See if you can wrangle up some friends and put in an entry for next year.
I think, yeah, we definitely all, I mean, even people who are like somewhat ancillary to the community. I know I have clients who have never done a Power Monkey event or friends who are like, sign me up for next year. And I'm like, ooh, but but they could definitely, I mean, it could just become a big networking event as Gary would say, that Power Monkey is that anyway. So you could probably hodgepodge together a team of coaches, clients, potential people, and then like, hey, if you want to all hang out together, not just like 6 in a van, come hang out at camp.
Do we make like a monkey palooza and then it's just out in Portland for that week?
We'll see how many teams we can, and then we just do our own run.
Yeah. Do it around Ohio to Oregon. We'll do a super long run, Mike.
There
There we go.
yeah, not too much to
Perfect.
see around there. Just running around the woods in Ohio for a little bit. We just run on Mike's property in Ohio.
Yeah, we can.
Do
That's
that.
where I was training last year, hardcore.
Love it. Well, thank you guys. You made the fun super fun this year. It was awesome. Rather challenging to recover from, but that's expected. But overall, I think it was much better year 2 than it was year 1. And we'll have some more content being put out on what the race looked like for everybody. So thank you guys.
Yeah, super smooth.
For all listeners out there, please be sure to head over to PowerMonkeyFitness.com. We have our Power Monkey Camp 22 coming up in a couple of weeks. If you're interested, we have a couple of spots left over. You can go to PowerMonkeyCamp.com for more information if you want to sign up. And we also have our Camp 23 ready to go. Registration is up at that same website, PowerMonkeyCamp.com. And also, if you are interested, we have our new plan in the Power Monkey Training app. Please go to the website and look up the Power Monkey Training app. You can check out our new Handstand 365 program for handstand training every day of the year. Thanks again for listening.